welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a recipe that was requested by one of our viewers. And this recipe is for red velvet cheesecake. We're going to make it a little bit differently than the kind she likes to get at the Cheesecake Factory. We're going to actually be filling the cheesecake or the cupcakes with the cheesecake filling instead, and then decorating them very beautifully. So here are our ingredients we need for today. We've got our baking soda, we have eggs, vanilla, red food coloring, cocoa, sugar, flour, buttermilk, Crisco, vinegar, and our red velvet. There's not actually red velvet in red velvet cake? Oh, well, never mind that. Okay, on we go. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, this is Crisco, and your moms might have this in a little jar. I happen to have mine in a stick, but it does come both ways. So if you have the stick, you'll look on the side, we need a half a cup. So I'm going to just take this stick of Crisco, and I'm going to cut half of it with my spatula, and I'm going to scoop it right into my mixer. And then next, I'm going to take 1.5 cups of sugar, and that's what I have here. I'm going to measure out 1.5 cups, and I'm going to dump that into my mixing bowl as well. There's 1 cup. Boy, that's close. We have just enough sugar. And 1.5 cups. Okay, and then we're going to take our red food coloring. And this is how red velvet cake gets its name. This is why it's called red. And it's velvet because it's a very smooth tasting cake. And you're just going to drip in, I would say 5 or 6 drops to start. We can always add more if we need to. Okay. And then we're going to get our mixing paddle, and we're going to mix this all together. For just a minute. Okay, our sugar and Crisco and food coloring are just about mixed up. So next we're going to add 2 eggs. And we're just going to crack them right into the bowl. And remember I said before, it's handy to have an extra bowl when you're... Okay, now we're going to add our second egg. Alright, and now we're going to start the mixer up and get those ingredients all mixed together. Okay, our next ingredient is going to be 1 tablespoon of cocoa. And we used cocoa in the mayonnaise cake recipe. This is the same cocoa that, the same kind we're using in this recipe. And what you want to remember is that the tablespoon is the one that has the big T on it. It's a capital letter T. That's the tablespoon. So we're going to do just 1 of those. And you want to make sure it's pretty level. You can kind of bump it on the side of the cocoa container. See, it's kind of flat. That's what you want. So just dump it right in there. Then we're also going to take 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Vinegar is something that you use sometimes in baking, but not a whole lot. It smells really funny, but it does good things to recipes. So we're going to have 1 teaspoon, so just pour 1 teaspoon, dump it right in. And then our next ingredient is called buttermilk. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen buttermilk before. It's like milk, but it's really thick. It's not a kind of milk you would want to just drink by itself. But this recipe calls for 1 cup of buttermilk. So that's what we're going to add here. So here's my 1 cup. We're going to do 1 cup of buttermilk. See how it's really thick? There's lots of butter and cream in with this milk. Okay, there's our 1 cup. Dump it in. Okay. And then you need 2 cups of flour. So I've got my flour here. And we're going to do 2 cups. And I'm going to use the half cup measure, so that means we need 4 of these. So there goes 1. You counting with me? 2, 3, 4. Good counting, thank you. Oops. My lid was trying to escape. Did you see that? Okay, and then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and that's the orange box. So we'll take our 1 teaspoon and add that. And then we also need 3 teaspoons of vanilla. And that's in this little bottle. So we're going to just fill it 1, 2, 3. Vanilla smells really good, kind of like a vanilla candle. And then we also are going to use just a little bit of salt. I don't usually measure the salt because I don't add very much, but I'm going to add just a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to put our mixer back down, and we're going to mix this all up, and we'll check it in just a minute. Okay, our red velvet batter looks really good. It's finished mixing. So I'm going to turn it off. Look at that. It's nice and reddish. Have you ever had red cake before? Delicious. Okay, so we're going to just clean our batter, or our beater off a little bit here. And put it in our dirty dish container. Nice and thick. I'll show you what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? Looks good. Okay, so what we're going to do is you can use an ice cream scoop or a big spoon, whichever you want. I have this medium-sized ice cream scoop, so that's what I'm going to use. And I've just taken a cupcake pan and I've put white cupcake papers in it, and that's what we're going to use for our cupcakes. So you just take a little bit in your mixer and drop it right in to the cupcake. And I usually do 2 per cupcake paper. Okay. And we're going to fill all these up, and then we'll put them in the oven. Okay, we've just got 1 more cupcake to fill, and then they're ready to go in the oven. You can also make this recipe, instead of making it cupcakes, you can make them 2 round cakes. Either way would work fine. If you do the round cakes, instead of filling them with frosting and filling, you would just put the filling in between the 2 cakes to keep them together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put these in our oven. We preheated our oven to 350. So we're going to just pop these in. You need an adult to do this for you. And set our timer for about 16 minutes. We'll have to check them at 16 minutes and see, they might need to go a few minutes longer. But we'll check back with them in 16 minutes. Okay, our timer's ready. So we're going to take our cupcakes out of the oven. Oh, I wish you could smell this. They smell wonderful. Yummy. So we're going to let them cool for a little bit, and then we'll frost them. Okay, our cupcakes have cooled, and it's time to frost them. So the first thing you're going to need is a pastry bag, and I think probably all of your moms and dads have these. You're going to just fill the inside of this with frosting. You just take a spoon and just shove it down in there. And I'm just using this plain Betty Crocker whipped frosting. And you can choose any flavor that you like. Typically cream cheese or buttercream is done with red velvet, but you can do whatever you like. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've got my cupcake, and I'm going to just take this tip and stick it right down in the middle. And then you squeeze the bag, and the frosting is going down inside of the cupcake. So I'll pull it out. And you can see the filling is inside. Also, if you make your own cheesecake inside filling, you can do that this way as well. So then you just frost it however you want. So I think I will do little spikes today. So what you do is just hold onto your bag and just do little tiny squeezes all around the cake. You can do as many as you want or as few as you want. It's very simple. You don't want to squeeze too hard. And you can make as many rows as you want. We'll do 2 rows. kind of push down and pull back up. And then you get the little tails on top. And then we'll fill in the middle. The big top there. Okay, now we're going to do what I've done for some red topping, since it's almost Valentine's Day, is I've taken a little bit of coconut and just put it in this little cup, and then I added some red food coloring. So I'm going to just take some of this and just kind of sprinkle it on top. Look how fancy that looks. Just a little bit of color. And then something else you can do if you would like, we'll take one white chocolate chip and we'll just stick it right on the top. And then if you'd like, you could put some more coconut around, and we'll add it to our fancy plate. We've got some others that I've already decorated. This is a really good opportunity for you to just get creative. You can do whatever you want with frosting. Make it as fancy, as simple as you want. So I'm going to wash this off my hands and go round up my taste tester. Okay, my love, my taste tester, let us know what you think. You must really like it. He's going in with all of his face. Happy baking and happy Valentine's Day.